Thursday, the 19th of February 2026. A very good evening to you and welcome to Science TV Prime News. My name is Chris Mololo. Our sign language interpreter is Wanja Ngede. And now straight to our top stories tonight. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has called for strengthened financial accountability, raising concerns over government's plans to privatize Kenya Pipeline Company KPC and sell 15% of Safaricom shares. Speaking at the 34th Economic Forum in Nairobi, Nyoro questioned the transparency of the sales and the intended use of proceeds. He urged the government to clarify the details of public company divestments, insisting that any funds generated, should be applied for the benefit of citizens rather than political or private interests. He emphasized the importance of safeguarding public resources in major privatization moves. The legislators' remarks come amid growing debate over state-owned enterprises, with critics highlighting potential risks of undervaluation and misuse of public funds. Nyoro stressed that clear reporting and robust oversight mechanisms are essential to maintain public trust.
It has to revisit this transaction. And Vodacom, which is the parent of the buyers buying Safaricom, if there is any deal you have done with any government official, which is making Kenya lose over 100 billion, you are going to take the burden. The directors of Vodacom, I said, I'm waiting to see their response. Because I'll give Kenyans their phone numbers. If government cannot speak for us in the sale of Safaricom, Kenyans will directly speak to the directors of Vodacom, including the chairman and the CEO. Because there is no way I'll be here as an MP and as a leader. I have experience in the stock market. I know people are taking advantage of Kenya, and people tell me, oh, for political decency, you can't do that. Political decency when Kenya is losing 100 billion. What's Aikai?
Moving on, education stakeholders today convened end of the Kenya Institute of Special Education to unveil a digital diagnostic platform designated to assess learners' abilities and map out pathways for talent development. The tool is expected to evaluate individuals' strengths at an early stage and generate tailored recommendations on how each learner's potential can be nurtured within the school system. Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok says the innovation will help identify gifted children across diverse fields, including athletics, engineering, drama, and business, among other disciplines. By leveraging data-driven assessment, stakeholders noted that the platform will enable teachers and institutions to provide targeted support, mentorship, and exposure opportunities aligned to each learner's demonstrated aptitude. Education leaders described the initiative as a transformative step in expanding opportunities under the competency-based education framework. They revealed that more than 230,000 teachers have already undergone retooling to align with the new curriculum, positioning the system to effectively integrate the digital platform into classroom practice nationwide.
Far too long, we have been ignoring some of the talented children and we have been using guesswork. But today we have a tool a very special tool that is a product of many years of research from the experts. And we are saying now, all gifted children, all talented children will be assessed using this tool to identify what strengths they have. We are working very closely with the Teacher Service Commission to ensure that we retool teachers also on these areas, including using the tool to identify talent. We have a big project also coming up here in Kise to support assistive devices, to build 8 national centers for special education.
This is a game changer in the education sector because it will be standardized. Therefore, there will be no biasness. It changes the way we approach assessment in identifying learners with special talents and gifts.
The Law Society of Kenya, LSK, has launched its national elections today with voting taking place across centers nationwide. Lawyers turned out to elect leaders who will steer the affairs of the professional body following the official close of the campaign period yesterday. Among the candidates vying for the LSK presidency are Peter Wanyama, Charles Kanjama, and Mwaura Kabata, each promising reforms and stronger representation for the legal fraternity. The electoral process was being overseen by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that's IEBC, which facilitated voting for approximately 18,000 lawyers across the country. Winners are expected to be announced later today once the voting concludes. The election marks a key moment for the legal community, highlighting engagement and active participation in shaping the leadership of Kenya's premier legal association.
We know the crucial role that the Law Society of Kenya plays in ensuring that we defend the Kenyan Constitution, we defend the rule of law, and that civil liberties that are enshrined in our Constitution are not taken away by the regime that is in power. So we really take this society as a very key organization. That's why I've come all the way to cast my vote, to also add my voice in picking a leader that will steer the Law Society to the next level.
Amazing. And these elections come ahead of the 2027 general election. What would be your message to whoever will emerge the winner?
Whoever emerges is that our Constitution is under threat. There are people in the political class, given space, they will shred our Kenyan Constitution to pieces. They don't care that Kenyans enacted a new Constitution in 2010. You have seen how people who gather in peaceful meetings that are allowed under our Constitution gets harassed by the police, the harassment by the police, the killing of innocent Kenyans. So we are looking forward to a president who will be very alert, who will remain independent, who will be very firm in ensuring that we don't reverse the democratic gains that this country has gained under the 2010 Constitution. If we relax, we will go back to the KANU days. That's why it's very important that lawyers get it right by electing the right candidate, an independent-minded candidate, somebody who values rule of law and who will step forward and put his life on the line to defend the Constitution, to defend the rule of law, and to defend the rights of.
Topping story, and as soon as we get any updates regarding the LSK elections, we'll keep you posted. Now let's move on now to matters health, and the Health Minister Aden Duale has confirmed that teachers are now benefiting from the services under the Social Health Authority, that is SHA Health Insurance Scheme, after enrolling in December. Speaking during a parliamentary budget session, Duale highlighted the scheme's positive impact noting that the government has saved 8 billion shillings since teachers joined. He further announced that police officers will be included in the SHA scheme starting April, expanding access to essential health services for frontline personnel. The move is expected to improve healthcare delivery and reduce out-of-pocket expenses for law enforcement officers. The minister also emphasized that the Ministry of Health requires 38 billion shillings to implement primary healthcare initiatives across the country. He urged the parliament to support the budget to ensure that essential health services reach communities effectively.
I'm very happy today. I'm happy also. In the previous scheme, our teachers were only accessing 800 health facilities across the country. They were only accessing one level 6, which is private, owned by the insurer. Today, our teachers are accessing over 9,000 facilities across the country. They can access all the level 6, public, private, and faith-based. Today, our teachers have a better package. For example, their foreign medical is 2.7 million. They get a better package. So our teachers, we have served them from December to January to February now. And we are taking over our armed police and prison 1st of April. And when I come back to this committee in another 6 months, I will prove to you that the country is going to save close to 8 billion by just shifting teachers from a private medical scheme to the Social Health Authority. They're getting more package, better served, more facilities, and we will save as a country. And I want to go on record. We will save close to 7 to 8 billion what was charged government. So
a 35-year-old man has been sentenced to death after admitting to kill a 7-year-old girl, Tamara Blessing, in the case that shocked the local community. Nicholas Julius Macharia pleaded guilty to the charges related to the child's death in the Wetemere area of Nyeri during the proceedings last month. Macharia told the court he was under the influence of what he described as quote-unquote shetani at the time of incident, a claim that did not sway the judges or legal authorities. The court found his confession credible and, after reviewing the evidence, imposed the death penalty, reflecting the gravity of the crime under Kenyan law. The sentencing has drawn attention nationwide, with families and child rights advocates highlighting the need for stronger protections for vulnerable children. Local leaders have called for increased community vigilance and support systems to prevent similar tragedies.
By the minor cannot be fathomable. It is beyond human understanding. Describing the convict as a beast will be an understatement. God is unable to discern any role played by the devil. The law does not recognize claim to supernatural powers. In this instance, the devil is innocent. Accordingly, I find that you are hereby sentenced to death. A death warrant shall be transmitted to the competent authority for signing and carrying out of the sentence after 30 days stay of execution.
And the verdict has given us a sense of accountability and closure. Now at least we can move to the next step of healing. So now it will be easier, knowing that our child got justice that is deserved.
Last news update, the Ministry of Mining plans to hold talks with residents of Ikolomani, that's Kakamega County, to ease tensions over proposed gold mining activities in the area. The discussions aim to ensure community concerns are addressed before any mining licenses are issued following unrest linked to the sector. Speaking after a meeting with county leaders, Harry Kimtai, Secretary in the Ministry of Mining, confirmed that no licenses will be granted until local communities are fully consulted. He stressed that inclusive dialogue is essential to prevent further conflict and promote sustainable mining practices. The engagement comes a few months after violent clash over gold exploration rights left 3 people dead and 60 arrested. Authorities hope that talks will establish a transparent framework for mining and foster trust between the ministry and local residents.
The issue of customary rights, what will happen to the graves of our forefathers and fathers who we buried here. And they also involve environmental rights, where we are talking about our rivers and water resources may dry up. What is the alternative?
Tuko na miners wengine, like now, in your area, Mheshimiwa Mkhala, samaki zimekufa zote kwa maji. So these artisanal miners pia wengine are creating a lot of havoc to our people. Ikiwa samaki zimekufa, hiyo maji iko na nini? Ni mercury, vitu gani?
6 years, we will take the 10 years. If it takes 19 years, we'll take the 19 years. It's about engaging the community. And until the community has given their approval is when we shall proceed